What's going on, everybody? King of Dragons 5000 here, coming at you with another figure review. Today we'll be having a look at the Hasbro Marvel Legends Build-A-Figure Apocalypse. Now here we do have Apocalypse fully assembled. The figures you will need to complete Apocalypse are Wolverine, Magneto, Gladiator, Sabretooth, Storm, Multiple Man, and Psylocke. Once you have all 7 figures, you do get Apocalypse, and he's a really nice looking Build-A-Figure. But is he any good? Well, let's actually take a little break, get him off the stand, and then we'll have a better look at Apocalypse. So here we have Apocalypse fully assembled and off the stand. Apocalypse here doesn't come with any accessories. He will get an alternate hand later down the road, but for right now, we're going to have a look at Apocalypse as he is. I guess you can say he kind of sort of comes with accessories. You can actually take these little tubers off, and if you want to have him pose without them, you can, although I think it looks better with the little tubes. So he really doesn't come with any accessories, being that he is an amalgamation of accessories that come together to form this really nice looking figure. And he does look really nice. So since we're on the subject, let's actually have a better look at Apocalypse. And so here we have a closer look at Apocalypse, and you can see they did a really nice job with his face. He's really angry, disgruntled. It looks really nice. I know there's some people that think that this head really doesn't look like Apocalypse, but this is how I picture Apocalypse looking when you get on his nerves and he's just ready to stomp you. And it looks really nice. I love the metallic blue that they use on the sides right here going onto his lips. His teeth, for the most part, are painted well. You can see he actually has red eyes with black eyeliner around it. I guess that's the best way to put it. And then going on to the back of his head, you can see this helmet that he wears. Looks really nice. He does have this little collar piece, which is a separate appliance, I might say, so you can pop that off if you really want to. However, I'm going to leave it on because that's the way Apocalypse looks. His shoulder pads are really nicely done. There's just a little bit of dust on them. Being that they're really high gloss, you're going to have a problem with dust getting on these, so you're going to want to dust them off really often. But his shoulder pads are done really nicely. You can see all the little details in it. Going on to his arms, you can see his gauntlets again have a lot of good details on them. They actually are painted with a gunmetal here, and then this really dark blue. The camera's actually picking it up really well, but it's almost like a black in person, but the camera, you can actually tell it's a dark blue. His little tubers, these tubes that go from his arms to his back, are really nicely done, so no issues there. I really do love his belt. That A is just, that screams Apocalypse to me, and you can see all the rivets are nicely painted. There's actually 2 tones of blue, a really dark blue here, and then the lighter blue there. His costume is also done in this really nice, deep metallic blue, and then again, that really rich, deep royal blue. He's just a really nice looking figure overall. Going down to his legs, you can see again continuing that blue. His hands have a lot of nice sculpted details in them. His knee pads and his shin guards are something to behold because there's a lot of detailing in them as well. His knee pads, you can see, are actually sculpted really well. You can see right here there's some crevices right there. There's a lot of line work going through his greaves, his boots, whatever you want to call them. You can see that continues down here. And although this is a floating piece, I'm really not too bothered by it. It still looks nice. And it also has the gunmetal here on the sides. His feet are kind of sculpted. You can see they almost added the treads, but then they put their trademark stamps here. But it's not something you're going to see often on the figure. And Apocalypse here is just really nice, and I really do love the way he came out. So what we're going to do now is actually get Apocalypse posed and compared to a few figures you may have in your collection. Here we have Apocalypse posed next to a Marvel Legends Cyclops and the Marvel Legends Tiger Stripe Wolverine. Here we have Apocalypse posed next to Infinity War Thor. Here we have Apocalypse posed next to Black Widow. And here we have Apocalypse posed next to the Walmart exclusive Thanos. So with the comparisons out of the way, let's actually have a look at Apocalypse's articulation. Now, he does have quite a bit of articulation. Some of it is actually hindered, though. Starting at his head, he does have a hinge in the neck, which he would be able to look further back if he wasn't wearing his collar. He can actually bury his head deeper into his collar. We do get some really slight head pivot, but it's nothing that I would consider groundbreaking. His head does rotate left and right. And you can actually get his chin over the collar if you really wanted to. But unfortunately, like I said, his head is limited due to the collar. His shoulders are also limited because the way they articulated his shoulder pads is that they're hinged on the torso. You can see his arms do go up to about that far, which the shoulder pads still look nice. But then they only go forward about that far before you risk popping his shoulder pads off, so we don't get a full 360. And then they're also hindered by these little tubes, although they actually do go out quite a bit without the tubes popping off, so I do like that. He has a bicep swivel, which works pretty well. He has a single bend in the elbow, but it is hindered by his gauntlet, so we do get a little less than 90. He does swivel and hinge at the wrist. No issue there. So yeah, no issues here at the wrist, and I almost dropped him. I'm sorry about that. Moving his arm back down. He does have a really nice ab crunch, which goes back about that far, crunches forward really far, so I really do like that. He does have a waist swivel, which is a little bit hindered by his belt. I think you can lift his belt up to give him a little better swivel, but yeah, his belt is going to be hindering his articulation there. Legs do go forward really far, they go back, they go out quite a bit, but you can see his leg is really heavy and it does make that hip go down. Really stiff joint here at the thigh. We have double jointed knees, so that works no problem. We have a ball hinge in the ankle, so we can't get up and down movement. We have forward facing pin for rocker, and like I said, we do get a ball hinge, so we get a true rocker ankle here with Apocalypse. So I really do like the way this figure came out. So what we're going to do now is take a little break, get him posed for my final thoughts, and then we'll wrap up this review. So sit tight, everyone. So here we have Apocalypse posed for my final thoughts. Overall, I really do love the way this figure came out, and I'm really happy to have an Apocalypse in my collection. I never was able to complete the 12-inch Apocalypse that Toy Biz put out, and I really don't have space for 12-inch figures, so having this Apocalypse is really nice, especially because he's one of my favorite X-Men villains. If you can find the Apocalypse Wave in stores, I really recommend you pick up every single figure from this series. You're not going to be disappointed unless you're nitpicky and you're just trying to complete Apocalypse. If you can get Apocalypse, definitely put him together because he's a really solid figure, and I do think he's a worthy addition to your collection. With that being said, guys, I'm KingofDragons 5000. Don't forget to like this video, leave a comment, subscribe to my channel. Go check out all my other action figure reviews, as well as my other Marvel Legend videos. Hopefully you find them informative. As always, if there's a figure you would like to see me review, let me know down in the comments, and if it fits in my collection, I'll definitely have a look at it. Until next time, guys, I'll see you later. Take care, everyone.